welcome to everyone to our DHN CXO Podcast. My name is Sepi Browning. I'm the technology leader at Piedmont Eastside Medical Center, and I'm so honored to have my friend and colleague join us today. His name is Michael Collins, and we go way back, Michael. Please share with our viewers and listeners a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I've been in healthcare. So I started in the Marine Corps, went into law enforcement, then got into healthcare a little over 20 years ago. And I've worked my way all throughout healthcare, working, starting as an ED tech and then getting into IT for 12 years before transitioning to a role in which I'm really able to lead the organization through transformation time periods, right? So helping with organizational change management and transition management. So happy to be here.
Thank you, Michael. And I know we have a great story in regards to how we met a while back, right? I guess before COVID started, we had an opportunity to connect through ACHE of Georgia and get to know each other in this ecosystem and continue our um, working together in our professional relationship through Georgia HIMSS. And I've had the opportunity to hear you through some joint panels and different conversations. And I know you're very passionate about what you do. Um, Talk to me a little bit about why this focus and passion around the people side of change has stuck with you.
Yeah, I think it comes from both the experience working in the clinical setting before getting into IT and then being in IT, going from an analyst, getting into leadership roles and stuff. And so often we would get really involved in building something out. And we had these great ideas and we'd bring people to the table and have design sessions and get all excited and this is going to be great. And then we roll it out and all of a sudden there's barriers we didn't anticipate. There's resistance. Sometimes we had to back stuff out, new technologies that we thought everybody was excited about, but we back it out because the organization wasn't ready. Team members, that nurse that works at 3 a.m. on Sunday morning that has no clue that new technology is coming, and just seeing the impact and anxiety that change causes to those frontline workers because they're there to take care of patients. And so when the opportunity came along for me to get into organizational change management and start focusing not on the project management side, but the people side, just it ignited something in me that I just absolutely love helping people overcome those challenges.
Yeah, your background is so valuable. Having that clinical components to be able to draw from and understanding the impact of when we're all trying to do the best we can with innovation, take advantage of the opportunities out there. But you're right, we can't lose focus of why we're all in this after all, which is to enhance that care and that quality and the people that are trying to do it to ensure we support them and help them. And you're spot on. So to continue this discussion around the importance of the people part of change when we're implementing technology. Take me down that road a little bit further about what you're doing and how you're doing things.
Yeah, so there a lot of organizations are seeing a gap, and however, some organizations struggle. Some have been successful. Some have struggled when they try and stand up organizational change management departments. Sometimes it's part of Lean, sometimes not part of Lean. But the big thing that I'm seeing with it is that we really have to separate change management from project management. So organizations, especially in IT, love to have the design sessions, and then we have key milestones, we have implementation dates, and so all of a sudden it's let's get people ready by sending them through training. Let's have them sign up for these classes, and then they're going to be good to go. But what we're missing is a central element of IT shouldn't necessarily be leading the change. It should be those leaders of the departments, those leaders that are leading the front line, making sure that their teams are ready. And that can be difficult. And so from an organizational change management perspective, we work closely with the leaders to upskill them on how to have conversations, on connecting with their team members and listening to them, empathizing with them, finding out, hey, this change is coming. I know you're signing up for the CBL, but how are you feeling about X, Y, and Z change? And even as a leader, if you can't change anything about the change that's coming, you can't stop it. You can empathize with your team members, and that is critical because sometimes people just want to be heard, and if their voice is heard, and if you really listen to them, sometimes you can even find barriers that you weren't anticipating. And if you don't do this on the front end, a lot of times we have to do it on the back end, or you have to pull the technology out.
Right. That was so many great nuggets there. Even we often say that IT should not be leading. We want our operational leaders to feel empowered to lead. You are making it happen. You are, as you put it, upscaling the leaders, giving them the tools and sharing opportunities of how they can confidently be leading these efforts and needs. And so talk to us now about how you're making this happen, what you're labeling as your three-tiered approach.
Yeah, so this is something that the team that I joined had already done a lot of work on before I came over, and it was really focused on how do we create a model that fits our organizational culture. There's a lot of methodologies out there, and I won't name any of them on purpose, but there's several different methodologies. But a lot of times the methodologies don't necessarily fit the culture within the organization. So how do we create something that meets your organizational culture, will be adaptable and flexible? And so we created something here which really focuses around what we call the 4 E's, and that's engaging early and often, empathizing with the people being impacted, equipping them. So that would be the training and equipping them to be ready for the change, and then excelling with them. So identifying and recognizing. And with that 4E approach, we've already upskilled over 1,000 leaders and have given them a plan on a page. So how do you map out, for anybody that's familiar with empathy mapping, it's kind of concepts of that is, what are you going to say as a leader? What are you going to ask? What are you going to do? To whom? When? And helping leaders formulate what that message is going to be, because sometimes we can talk about changes and different groups of people are going to hear the same message, but they're going to hear it in different ways, and it's going to impact them in different ways. And so that was the first phase and has been rolling out over the last year and a half. And now we're getting into going a step further. And so that's great. We've upskilled leaders on more of that departmental approach and how to have conversations. However, when it's larger scale implementations of technology across the organization, such as AI initiatives or other large scale, maybe it's a new business application or clinical application, that's going to require a different level than just a plan on a page for a unit leader. Unit leaders still use that. However, me and my team are really there to walk beside those business owners and executive sponsors that own the new technology and helping them think through whether it's risk and impact analysis, stakeholder analysis, readiness assessments. And so it's a lot of assessments. Our next level up from the basic level where we get folks the toolkits to take the approach toward change. Our next level up is acting in an advisor role. So conducting those assessments, but in this case, Sepi, I would partner next to you and kind of guide you and assist you to think through the strategy. But then the very large scale changes, that is our tier 3, and that's where it's all in support. We're really embedded, and I like to tell people that we're not training, we're not communication, we're not project management. Consider us an add-on service. So you have those other groups part of your implementation. We're an add-on. So if you think that we would provide value, we can come in and partner with you, triage it, assess it, and then let you know. And based it on the time period that you call us in, would also determine the level that we would be able to get engaged with you.
Yeah. I love how you all are pulling this apart from the project component, because this culture and sustainability, to your point, needs to be part of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're supporting them and hand in hand working with your leaders, they're going to become um, more efficient at it, and be able to just really maintain this and embrace it in everything that's done.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, in something we all get told, right? It's so important to know the right questions to ask and in the right way. And that's another component of what you guys are coaching on, which I think is amazing, and leadership development as a whole. So I really, as I'm listening to you and writing down these nuggets of information, I love it. Now, the other thing that is really amazing in what you were sharing is, yes, a lot of assessments, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
work, but I think what's different in you and your team, you guys are helping the leaders take this level of information gathering and actually putting it into action or actionable findings.
Right. Yeah, it's really about that co-ownership, right? And so we're that connective tissue in between
Yeah.
the IT department and that maybe department leader that has a team reporting in under them. Whether it's inpatient, outpatient, virtual services,
Yeah.
it's still the same. There's got to be that connective tissue. And back to a point you made earlier, I do think that it's very important. I even try to refrain from being part of project meetings. And the reason why, I don't want my opinion to be skewed, thinking that others know more than what they know, right? So if I am not part of the project meetings, then I can think more like what that end user is going to be. And so we keep a core team outside of that project meeting, which is communications. And we do bring in the project manager, business owner, and myself and the project manager to discuss strategically, how do we get this out? Who do you engage next? And but it's really about empowering that frontline leader. And if they can have those conversations when we're not around,
Right.
that's going to mean make a big difference.
You're right. Yeah, you're setting them up for success. That's
Right.
wonderful. So all this information and findings, you have also created, again, we're in the healthcare space, but you've created a triaging kind of process. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So that was fun. It's almost a rubric decision tree type thing because I want to make sure that we're treating things standard. And because we all know that requests can come in from certain people, and oftentimes it's easy to say, I'm going to do it for this group, but not that group. And so we want to take a standardized approach. And a lot of times, IT groups will do the same when it comes to optimizations and maybe EMR systems and all sorts of other technologies to make sure that we're properly triaging. But I felt it's very important to do the same for change management requests. That way, the equity of support is across the system. We're making sure that we're getting at the appropriate level of support. We can't provide tier 3 support if you give us 30-day notice that something's about to go live. So in order, setting those expectations up front is very important, but having a designated triage team that's all they do is nothing but focus. If you have the same person or people doing the triage, then you're going to have consistency in how things are engaged and the ensuring equity of support and services.
I love that. And when we document whatever the structure and the concept is, then it also offers the opportunity for that continued workflow enhancement of itself.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get feedback of whatever, then at least, your team has that current state well documented. You
Right.
guys are practicing it, and it only provides the opportunity for even that to be continuously improved.
Absolutely.
So that's amazing. I know all of that takes a lot of time, effort, and particular attention. So I mean, this is all great information. Now, we all know, um, whether it is a project or some type of operational improvement enhancement, nothing ever truly just stops just
Mm-hmm.
because you might have put a line in the sand. Everything continues. So after this change has been implemented, um, you all have the mindset of that continuous monitoring to ensure
Mm-hmm.
sustainability. And so how are you all implementing that or managing
Yeah.
that?
So that this to me is probably the most exciting part of it. And it's something I think we often forget, right? So in IT, it's about let's implement something. Here's our implementation date. We're live, boom, off to the next project. And early on, when I started doing organizational change management, I was in a meeting and we asked, what does a successful go live look like? And somebody said sustainability. And that's always stuck out with me. I'm like, man, we don't really monitor that. And so I created triage into the three levels of support, and then let's create a monitor and sustainment team that does QA work. So following up 6 months post implementation to find out what is the adoption rate. Maybe it was high at implementation, but now it's trending down. If it's trending down, let's go and do feedback loops and listening sessions and find out why are things going maybe opposite of what we anticipated. Are there things that we need to change or adjust? Is it technology, or is it more people focused where and then that gets into a transition management component, which complements change management, but transition management is the psychological component of human behavior where we experience resistance and maybe we are having to go through a grieving period because we can no longer do what we used to do with another technology. And so through that monitor and sustainment, if everything's good, we do a QA process and feed that back up to the overall process. If things are not, if adoption's not where we want it, then how do we change that? And once again, that's that through listening and gaining information.
And you can't tell me that none of this came from your military background and having an after action review, right?
Absolutely. So,
You're talking about all this. That's what's going through my mind. I'm like,
yeah,
I know this was all part of your mindset, and
right,
it works.
right.
It helps with that full cycle, and it is exactly that. It's a cycle. It's never ending
Mm-hmm.
because our industry is just very complex
Yeah,
for good reason, and for us staying focused on why we're all here and why we stay in this field. Wow, this is amazing. Thank you for sharing all of this, Michael, and also for doing this. For you coming out, sharing what you're sharing today. And I know you actively share this knowledge and information, and coaching and mentorship is at the core of who you are. Um, any other final words? Anything else you want to share about what is going on? And want to make sure you have another 30 seconds or so about what you're doing, and anything else going on in Michael's life.
yeah. So the biggest thing that I want to wrap up about this is I challenge all technology leaders to really think about when you're doing the implementation, change management isn't just this thing that's going to get in your way. Think about the technology and from the human element, the lives that it's impacting. While it might improve patient lives, how is it impacting the employee lives? And are you creating anxiety within the team members and for the leaders as based on the way that you're rolling something out? So I just challenge technology leaders to think through that component and not just a project management timeline and stuff. But other than that, just very active in the veteran community. If anybody's interested in reaching out for more information on change management or for assistance, I'll be more than happy to meet with them.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you again for your time. Thank you for your commitment, and thank you for your friendship. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you as well, Sepi.
And
Appreciate it.
everyone listening and joining us at our DHNX CXO podcast, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you at the next one.